Hello everybody and welcome to another video of Immortal Engines. Today we're going to be working on this Honda EU2000i generator, and we're going to be performing a valve adjustment on this generator. So I already took all the screws off and it's barely staying together. So I'm going to show you what things you have to remove in order to gain access to the valves. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and giving us a like. So we're going to go ahead and start taking this generator apart. So first thing, you want to remove all 4 screws from here. Okay, then what's gonna happen is you're gonna drop this right here. Whoop. Told you guys it's barely holding together. And then you're gonna find 3 8mm screws holding this cover to the inverter board that's behind. Okay, that's the inverter board. So after that, you're gonna pull this cover right here. It's just no big deal. You pull this cover right here, and back here you're gonna have access to 3 connectors that are behind the inverter board. Okay, so you got this guy, which is the main power coming from the generator to the inverter board. You have this one that is for the control panel lights, so basically your green running light, your low oil, and the overload. And this is your throttle motor cable. Okay, so once you disconnect all 3 of these, your inverter board should slide out like that. Okay, and you can just lay it down and leave it there. In my case, I don't need to disconnect anything else, so that's good enough. Next, you're gonna go on the side here, and with a little screwdriver here and here, carefully you're gonna pop this plastic piece off. So you can see it comes off very easily. Okay, and then you're gonna undo the 4 screws that are around this cover, and when you pull this cover off, it's gonna give you access. Let me move these things here. When you pull that cover off, it's gonna give you access to these 2 bolts right here, which is the bolts that hold the case together. Those are 10mm, so get an extension and then go ahead and loosen those up all the way. Last, you're gonna have 2 screws up here that you want to remove, and if I'm not mistaken, that should basically allow you to pull the cover off the generator. So let me see if I can do this one-handed. There might be another one here. Nah, just wiggle it carefully like so. There you go. Oh, so I don't want to lose anything. There we go. I'm just gonna put the parts on the side there. Okay everyone, so after pulling that cover off, it's very likely that your part, like mine, won't be broken. This should be hanging up around here, so you're gonna have to remove that. The other thing that I removed is this rubber grommet thing that goes here. It's like a mount. Okay, so you want to pull that out. You're gonna push the case a little bit to the side like this, and you're gonna remove all 4 of those screws. All right, of course you're gonna unplug your spark plug, all right, but you leave it in there, and then you're gonna grab a flathead screwdriver, and you're gonna stick it right there in between, and you're gonna twist it, and it should break the cover loose. Okay, so when you pull this up, you should have access to your valves like that, your valves and belt. So this is a good opportunity to check your belt. This one looks like it's already starting to crack, so I gotta look into that. It's definitely a total, it's definitely a complete disassembly of the engine. So yeah, that's a tough one. You really gotta know what you're doing when you get that far into it. But anyway, here are the valves. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly pull the cord so I can find top dead center, and then I'm gonna bring my filler gauge and I'm gonna check the clearance of the valves. So I'm gonna go ahead now and turn the engine over and find top dead center. The way you know is when you pull the cord, the valves are gonna go up and down, and at one point both valves will be on the up position. And see, this one is up, this one is not. Maybe I move it a little bit and it will get there. So yeah, So you just want to pull it up to where this valve is also loose. This is probably the exhaust. Yeah, this is the exhaust valve, intake valve. They both take the same measurement. I gotta look on my phone, but I will show you when I check with the filler gauge. Okay guys, so now that we got the cover off, you want to grab your filler gauge and you want to go to 0.0015, or and that's in inches, or you want to go to 0.04 millimeters. Okay, so you want to go ahead and check your intake valve, and I already checked that one. It's hard to put it in because it's really thin and flimsy, but when I checked my exhaust valve, the intake valve is fine, but when I check my exhaust valve, let's see if I can get it in here. I'm not sure if that's showing, but when I check my exhaust valve, it still has play. Here, let me show you. See how it's in there? So that play right there is no good. That's the valve being out of adjustment, and even that little bit can let go of enough compression for your generator to run improperly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this tool right here. This is a 9mm, okay, and it's gonna be a little bit, you know, unconventional, but I don't have a tool small enough to fit on there, so I'm just gonna use needle nose pliers. So I'm gonna loosen this up and I'm gonna tighten it up. Put this one here, and I believe I twist that way. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so you loosen that up, and probably when I tighten this, okay, yeah, that's too tight. You want it to have a little bit of drag on there. You don't want it to be stuck. That's still stuck. How about that? Still a little too much. Okay. Let go too much of it now. Just a tiny bit. So now that looks okay, we're gonna go ahead and tighten it. So see how it goes. All right, so now that I got it tight, yeah, that looks to be pretty good, much better than it used to be. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pull the cord and see if I can feel any difference. I'm gonna see the valves move too. Yeah, so I definitely feel a little bit of difference. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put some of it back together, and I'm gonna see if it starts. So I'm gonna do that. Get back to you guys.